Hello everyone, welcome to Fashion Calgary. My name is Anya Basag and I'm here today with Sheldon Kennedy, a former NHL player, author of the book Why I Didn't Say Anything, Order of Canada recipient, lead director of Sheldon Kennedy Child Advocacy Center, and I think I should go endless, but we can stop here. Those are just few things that I can tell about you. How are you feeling today, Sheldon? I know we've been going through some photo shoots, some posing, and you've been doing fantastic. How do you feel? Are you tired?
I'm not tired, and that was very impressive that you remembered all that on about a 2-minute practice round. So that was really good, actually.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. I'm having fun. I think it's important, and I like to learn new things. I'm definitely not a model, but I'm learning, and Rafael's
good instructor.
Yeah, very good instructor, right? I will remember chin down, look this way, turn your body that way all night.
Yeah, well, that you might use it. Who knows? Hey?
That's right.
So, but Sheldon, I want to always ask you, like, how and when did it happen that you know that you want to play hockey?
Well, I don't think playing the NHL was ever something I knew that I was going to do, or I think set out on the path to do. I think I dreamt about it, but it just kind of happens, and I think that hockey was a piece of my life and gave me a platform to do what I believe is my passion to do, and that's to advocate for child abuse and try to help make sure that our kids are as safe as they can be in this country and beyond.
How many years you've been playing actually hockey, and why you decided to stop?
I played 8 years in the NHL. I played 5 years in Detroit with the Detroit Red Wings, and 2 years in Calgary with the Calgary Flames, and 1 year in Boston. And I decided to stop playing hockey when I was 28, and mostly because I needed to deal with the effects of me suffering child abuse as a kid, and it was really affecting me as a person and my life, and I needed to make sure that I could start down that journey of healing.
Well, and that's why I want to actually talk a little bit about that part. What made you decide that you want to actually write a book? Why I didn't say anything, and what was that? You must be very courageous and to go and share what you feel and what you've been going through.
Well, I wanted to write a book. I mean, it came
In 96?
It came, no, I wrote the book actually in 2006.
10 years.
But I disclosed my story in 97. Mm-hmm. And I think that one of the biggest questions that I've learned over the years that surround the issues of child abuse of all forms is the question is why I didn't say anything. And whether it's two people that pick up a newspaper and read a story in the paper and they'll just say, well, why didn't they just say something? And I think it's the question that a loving parent may say to their child finding out if something's happened to them. Why couldn't you just tell me, sweetie? And I think it's the biggest question that the victims themselves ask themselves. Why can't I just say something? So I tried to answer that question as best I could. I mean, all the profits of the book go to the Canadian Red Cross and any organization that decides to sell them and make a little bit of a profit. So again, it's about raising awareness. It's about trying to help people understand the invisible damage that comes with this type of trauma.
Well, and let's get to your Sheldon Kennedy Child Advocacy Center. When we first met and we talked a little bit about the cases, I was just blown away with what you are dealing on everyday basis. And what's the idea and the whole concept behind this organization? And is there any common thing that you see every day in those cases?
Well, I think one of the things that we've been able to do, I mean, first of all, the Sheldon Kennedy Child Advocacy Center, we work in partnerships. So we have the whole Calgary Police Child Abuse Unit here. We have partnerships with Child and Family Services. We have 35 plus social workers here. We've got partnerships with the Crown Prosecutor's Office. We have the RCMP. We have Alberta Health. We have 4 pediatricians that specialize in child abuse here. We've got our child abuse team, which is psychiatrists and therapists. We have secondment from the Ministry of Education. So, I mean, pretty much what we've tried to do is create integrated practice. People talk about integrated practice all the time, but they don't really demonstrate it, and here we're demonstrating it. So what we do is we end up doing all of the child sexual abuse investigations in the city and treatment for kids, and really the bad cases, if I may, of physical abuse of children. So it's very difficult work that we do here. Our people are exceptional, and the whole goal, and I think the gift of what we've been able to do, is connect the dots so that we can really understand the impact that this type of crime has on our children, and connect the dots from addiction to mental health to sexualized behavior to suicide, and understand where most of this behavior and feelings come from, and work at the root cause instead of always working at the outer layer of the onion. So that's the gift that we've had, and that's what we do here.
And I also wanted you to mention like the age of the victims, because I know in many cases people are just unaware like how early it can start. Well,
yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's very sad, but yet it's very hopeful. So we assess, and we have roughly 125 kids a month that come through here. In just over 2 years, we've done over 3,015 investigations, and but the gift is that we are able to reach these kids early. We have a whole unit here that is just 0 to 3 months, just works with babies and that are abused, that we see, and we've moved that upstream to work with high-risk pregnant women on the street to try to make sure that baby's born safe and mom is safe. The average ages that we see are between 4 and 7, or I should say 4 to 12 years old. And when we see these kids, they're just demonstrating mental health concerns, suicidal ideation, addiction, sexualized behavior. So that's when we get them. And really the work we do is downstream. I mean, how do we work to prevent? So we also have a whole component here at the Child Advocacy Center, which is working with schools to try to create a confidence within our community to be able to understand these issues. And one of the myths is that it's strangers that are hurting our kids, and the reality is 95% of the cases that come in here, the children know their abusers, and 47% of the cases is a caregiver or a parent. So it's very shocking to some people, but we've been able to really create some good data and paint the picture a lot of times that society has a hard time understanding, connecting these dots.
Well, and that's why we've been actually chatting about that just recently. And someone asked me a question. They said, Jacques Fresco, he says, we are victims, we all are victims of our culture. And of course, in those cases, there are two sides, like there is a victim and there is a person who is in charge of those violent actions. So what do you think about actually those people who are in charge of those abusing actions? Like what... do you think, like, is there any like common, I don't know, habit for them to do those things, or like is it like just out of nowhere?
Well, what we do try to do here, and what we really see a lot of is kids on kids, and because of the internet and stuff, and the internet's good and bad, but the access to pornography for these young kids, and them acting it out on even younger kids, a lot like younger kids. And, we have to make sure that we're treating those kids. And I think if we understand pedophilia the way we understand it today, there is no fixing it. It's about managing it. And I think the concern that we have is that, the commitment of pedophiles wanting to manage their behavior. And we find that there's a lot of reoffending that's happening because there's a lack of willingness to do whatever it takes to not abuse kids again on their part. So I really believe that what we've been trying to do here is create a balance. I think that there was a lot of programs, there was a lot of effort in place to rehabilitate criminals, and nobody ever understood the impact on the victims of crime. And what we've been really trying to do is bring that balance into play, that and understanding that victims of crime cost our country $50 billion a year. And we need to put a focus on that and make sure that we're paying attention to that and they don't become our criminals.
Yes. Well, going into a little bit more positive question, what do you think was for you the most rewarding moment in your life so far? I'm sure there's a few.
Well, I mean, the most rewarding moment for me is when my daughter was born. I mean, she brought purpose in my life, which I didn't have at the time. So she gave me something to live for, and she gave me something to want to live for, and that was something I was just having a hard time finding at the time. So you know, she was definitely the most memorable moment in my life, and I think after that, I really think that being able to, after 20 years of working hard to try to get people to pay attention to these issues, was being able to receive the Order of Canada, and not for me personally, but for the issues that I represent. I represent issues that I could clear a kitchen with, and also you know, because of the way I had to live of what happened to me, I would have been the last guy that was probably on the list to get an Order of Canada. So you know, it really represents hope, and I felt proud about that, but I really felt grateful for the fact that we've been able to have social change enough to be able to have these issues discussed at that level.
So you, Sheldon, you've been traveling a lot, seen many places, and you still live in Calgary. What do you think about the cultural scene of our city? And I'm sure you've seen a change over the years.
Well, for sure we've seen a change, and I have been around a lot. My sister and her husband live in Poland. We've been over there.
Dobra, dobra.
Hey, dobra, huh? Not bad, eh? And so I've taken my daughter over there, and we loved it. But you know what? I'm always grateful when the wheels touch down in Calgary. I love this city. I think that you know, there's lots of different things to do, and I mean, you know, especially with the whole new Center of the Arts that's going to be opening, and if we look at the restaurant scene and the culture, I mean, you know, it's you know, my partner is a real foodie, so I get to get out to many restaurants, and I've understood food and a lot more than when I was batching it, just ordering pizzas every night. So you know what, I love being here, and I love the people. I love the way the city thinks. We have a get it done attitude. That's the way I think, and you know, I think we've got a city of people that are willing to take risks and people that are very giving. We would never have a center like this if we didn't have people that gave, and you know, and to me that's, you know, huge, and I just am a firm believer on the more we give, the more we get, and I think that's why I love the city the more, as much as I do.
Thank you so much, Sheldon. Thank you so much for saying yes to be one of the ambassadors for this year's campaign. And we look forward to see you at the gala. Stylish as always.
Stylish, eh? Yeah.
Okay.